Hi friends, welcome to VFX Pipeline channel. In this video, we will see what is VFX Pipeline and why do we need VFX Pipeline. So that is two more important questions that right now we should ask or you should ask from yourself that why do you need a VFX Pipeline? Let me share my screen. Okay, so when I started this channel, I put it the name VFX Pipeline that all you know already, and you guys see all the videos related to that. So I want to clarify that what exactly the VFX pipeline is, and it is a very important part for every studio that you should implement. And if you already have a VFX pipeline, then you should keep evaluate based on the requirement. But if you are running a production studio and you still haven't implemented a proper VFX pipeline, then it is a time for you to consider that, and we'll see what are the advantages. So before we understand what is VFX pipeline, the first thing that we should understand why we need a VFX pipeline. So it's a common thing. If you need something, then only you want to understand. Okay, so first thing is VFX pipeline is not a software. VFX pipeline is a process, but that process will make your work more efficient. So whatever things that you are doing in a manual way, and you are doing, like, if you are taking more steps to complete that, with a proper VFX pipeline or with the proper pipeline, you can reduce those steps. So with that you can efficiently work, and your team, your artist, everyone on the production floor, everyone will work more efficiently. That is number one. You can save time. So if you have properly implemented VFX pipeline, that will save a lot of time, because most of the time we'll go here and there because things are not organized properly. But once we have the proper structure and the pipeline, when everyone start following those SOPs, in a proper set of tools and everything is on place, then it will help us to save production time, and that will improve the production quality. So if you save time, that means you have more time to do the iterations, and once you do more iterations, there are chances that you can finish more work in the same amount of time. So similarly, if let's say Studio X is doing some work in 1 week, they are finishing two shots in 1 week, but you have a standard pipeline, then you might finish four shot in a week. Okay, so that is help you to improve your production and the quality and the quantity. You can also make automation and almost remove any manual workload. So that is also one of the most important part. If daily you are doing some repetitive job, that is very easily you can automate with that. So you don't need a human or your artist or anyone on the floor to actually doing the same thing. Instead, like, you can write some scripts or you can write some tools that will do that part automatically for you. You can remove and shorten the repetitive task, and that's what I want to say, that if there is always you are seeing something which is like, when you open file, you save file with a proper name or something, that, so just automate that. That's what the VFX pipeline will help you. Okay, and at the end, you can make a happy and healthy workplace for artists, because if you work efficiently, you save time, you improve quality, everything is working fine, that means everyone will be happy, your clients will be happy, your production team will be happy, artists will be happy, and that make a place very, good place to work. So that's what the need of VFX pipeline. Now we'll go more further, and this is not a technical video, so I'm not going to show like Python code and the scripts and the actual programming in this. So this is a general video and everyone can watch this. Let's go. What is VFX pipeline? So as we see in the need, it's a standard process to flow data and information from one end to another end within VFX work environment. So that is the simple definition as per me. Maybe there might be some other versions of this VFX pipelining will be available, but as per my understanding, VFX pipeline is just not just a software; it's a process which will help you to flow your information and data from one department to another department. So it's also flowing. So here, as I mentioned, so from one user to another user, information is flowing and data is flowing. Server to PC, PC to server, software to software, or sometimes software studios to studio or your client. So all the information and data flowing between these two ends can be included in VFX pipeline, and you can make automation properly to save a lot of time. Okay, so let's go ahead and see step by step what are these things. So when I'm talking about user to user, that include, let's say, a production manager assign a task to artist. So that is a daily repetitive task, because you get thousands of shots and you have hundreds of artists, you are keep assigning things to them, so that part needs to be flow in a proper way. And here VFX pipeline come, here your softwares come, how you can organize this thing better in your pipeline. Then artists shot to artists send shot to lead for approval. So that is also a regular process in studios where artists finish their task, and then they submit to for approval. So that part also can be included in VFX pipeline. That will save, with a proper pipeline, you can save time on in this. Then lead send to a client for review, and that is again a part of the daily process. Then clients send the feedback and to the production manager. So this is some example, and I'm not saying this is just a few example which I can give you, like how user to user information and data is flowing. So if that part you see you are doing it a daily basis and doing a lot of manual work, with VFX pipeline implementation you can easily automate that. Let's see some few more examples. Let's say in user to user, it's not just like a production artist and leads. It's basically sometime modeling department. If a modeler want to send a file, texturing file, to a texturing artist, so once a model is finished, sending file to texturing artist, that should also goes through a, one of the uh, uh, what you can say, that should be in the proper way, like what should be the file format that needs to be go, how, what is the export process, how they notify the texturing artist, so that all comes under a standard procedure. The same goes to once a rigger finish the rigging and the rig model pass to animator. So that process, animator sent to lighting, then lighting sent to rendering, and the rendering sent to comp. So this back and forth from between departments is also considered as user to user, and that can be easily automate and save a lot of time within your VFX pipeline. Okay. Now, there's some other use case where you can use server to PC. You can automate things. And what are the things that, let's say, if you want to do the application installations, if you want to install a plugin or a script, or you want to deploy that centrally in the studio, that is also part of the automation and the VFX pipeline. If you have some software and you are running centrally, and again, if you want to host that license server and you want to automate that part, let's say okay, one set of user can use few licenses. It's applicable to Maya, Houdini license, or whatever RLM based licenses, or centrally deployed licenses, that you can simply automate and manage well with implementation of a proper pipeline. If you have messenger, notification, authentication, this all comes under, if you make a plan properly. And I'm gonna cover each and everything in more detail, and how we gonna add all these things in the pipeline. And in my previous videos I already cover most of the things. Let's say in terms of messenger, I already showed in a detailed video on almost 16 to 18 videos, how to install Rocket Chat and how you can automate implement in the pipeline. And notification part, authentication I covered already, the Active Directory and the free IPA. So but there are many more which I'm going to add in this YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed VFX Pipeline, please do subscribe because there are tons of other videos are coming on the way. So PC to server. Now we are seeing, let's say if you are an artist and then you are communicating to the server. So in on daily basis as an artist, you are loading file from server, you are saving file to server, your file and folder naming conventions, and you're submitting render jobs to farm. These are few examples which I'm giving you. It's not like full story here, but just ask a question to yourself like, what is your process in your studio? What is your process? How you're loading file from server? How you're saving file to server? Are your artists have full access on the file server, on the production file server, or you have a system, or you have a better system which can save time for artists to load file quickly? Or if you have or are you using a DMZ to store file somewhere and then copy? So that is a two-step copy processing you are doing, or you are doing some hidden map policy, or you are just during the copy you are doing some temporary mapping the drives and then mount and unmount. So there are tons of other things that in a separate video we can talk about that. And if you want to know more about that, please do comment, and I will definitely revert back on that. So this process should be automate in a proper way, so things will be much more secure, and artist wise it should be faster enough to load and save files. The naming convention is also one of the critical part in every studio, whether it is a VFX or animation or gaming or whatever you are doing. So if that is not properly organized by your pipeline, things will be really gonna be mashed, because there are tons of files you are creating and their naming is not proper, and you will end up with just searching the content which you need at the end of the day, but you won't find that. Okay, so that part, if you have a proper centrally pipeline and a proper system, that you can easily automate. And submit render jobs to farm is again example where your software like DCC applications like Houdini, Maya, Nuke is submitting their jobs to farm. Or it can be cloud based farm or internal farm or cluster based farm or your local system based farm, whatever farm that you have, that should go in a one shot, one click. So artists should not go with it tons of addicts of selecting this, adding this configuration and all this thing. For their life should be much more simpler. They need to submit a job, that's it, that should be done. So review that entire process, that how much manual work that you are doing, and automation in that work is considered as a VFX pipeline. That's what our main topic is. That's what we are understanding in this video, right? So far I hope that you are understanding what I'm saying is. And still if you have some concern, you can just anytime comment in this video, and also you can directly communicate with us in our Telegram channel. Software to software is also part of the VFX pipeline, where you have Maya and you are creating assets in Maya, sending to Unreal Engine. It's required some process where you are exporting, whether it is Alembic data or FBX data, what kind of settings that you want to send, if you want to change the units to meters to centimeters or whatever it's your project's requirement. So that needs to be taking care of your pipeline. So artists no need to remember each and every settings every time. So that is the tool set or set of plugins that you can create to automate that workflow. The same goes to Maya animation to Houdini. Let's say if you want to export Alembic data always, so you can just export your Alembic files to Houdini, and a proper mechanism to import stuff inside Houdini. So make sure it's like all the HDAs created properly where sorry. So no, so whatever things that you are doing manually, that needs to be automated, and that's what the entire story behind the VFX pipeline. Same goes to Houdini simulations to Maya, Houdini assets to Unreal Engine. And when I'm talking about Houdini assets, is like creating digital assets and then export in Houdini Unreal Engine, Maya to Nuke, and DCC to review software. And that is most of the time artists use, like whenever they are in Maya, Houdini, Nuke, finishing their task, submitting for for review software to artists or leads or supervisors to review that, that process can be easily automate if it is a manual process. And even if you are using some sort of system, whether it is an online based system or a local system, that also can be automated. So where in one click directly things will be submitting from Maya, automatically playblast done, heads up display will be added, and always there will be a set of if it is a mp4 with h264 compression, so all things will be always set, so artists no need to add again and again that thing. So I hope you understand that, right? Okay, good. Now, studio to studio or client. And this is where if you have a studio, multiple branches across, maybe within India, within any other country, it's fine. So, or maybe you are sending your information and data from studio to clients and getting, so it's like branch A to branch B, or injecting the project info and data in production pipeline. So if you got a project, you get the information list of all the shots and tasks and storyboards with plates, and now you need to inject inside your pipeline. So whenever we get data, that is the terabytes of data, and you are adding all this information into the system. It's a long manual work. Sometimes we get the EDL files, so with that we can easily set the cuts and all. But it all depends like what kind of nature of business that you have. Sorry. Again, so here it's all depends like what kind of information that you are getting and how you gonna inject into your pipeline. But that part, since if you want to automate that in the coming stage, so it should be start straightforward from that level. Then production update sync, that is also important part, because whether it's your client or other studio, that information and the data must be sync in both side. So that part we can set some rules, set some goals, and put some scripts, make some plugins, tools that will run once a day or maybe every hour to sync some information. It's all about like I'm not I can just give you some example, but that you need to understand. And if you don't know what are the things that can be automate within your studio, you can just connect with me on my Telegram, or you can WhatsApp me. I can definitely help you to in that part. So again comes to the other part, which is delivery packages. So once you're done with your project, you can just pack the files for your clients, and you can just submit that. And that packing part is should also be automate properly. So that is also one of the important part. And reviews and feedback, because that is also a daily process. You are submitting things and you are getting feedbacks, so that part goes through many people involved in that. So it goes to the production managers, then coordinators, and then comes to supervisors, then come to artists. That takes a lot of time once it's reached from client to the artist. So if that part can be automate or can be reduce the number of step in between, that will save a lot of time. Understand? So technically this is the entire story in VFX pipeline. It's not just like a one software which you can go and buy and just double click and install and everything will be done. It's not like that. It's basically your own workflow. And it's not like if a VFX pipeline in studio A can work same in studio B. So it will not work like that. It's basically your own workflow, how you are doing. Every studio in this world have their own set of rules. Nobody is following the same folder structure, same naming convention, same drive letters. No one is following the same thing. They all have their own set of rules and logics, then how you want to proceed. Until you are a big studio like Disney, or who are providing tons of work to most of the studio, they are following the same pipeline, same naming convention, same folder structure. Why? because they are providing content to many different studios, and at the end they want to combine all this work at one place. So that's why they give you a big PDF with all their rules. But that is another story. But if you are running your own business and where you don't have such clients, so you can create your own rules and logics, and you can just follow that, find out what are the manual thing that you are doing in your studio, and you can automate that. Understand? Thanks for your time. You can subscribe VFX Pipeline. There are more videos coming soon. And you can also join our VFX Pipeline Club in Telegram. Link you can find in the description. And it's very simple. You can just search VFX Pipeline Club. And you can connect with me if you want to learn more about VFX Pipeline. You can WhatsApp me on my number, and you can email me if you want to know anything, and if you want to discuss with me anything personally. Okay? Thank you very much for your time, and I hope this give you a some understanding of how VFX pipeline work and what is the need of VFX pipeline in your studio. Thank you very much. I will see you in my next videos. Thank you guys.